guys, welcome back to a new video. So I thought I'd actually do an extra I say an extra upload. I was doing 2 uploads a week obviously, and if you've noticed the last couple of weeks I've just not been able to maintain that. But you know what, I'm feeling better today. I have a bit more spare time on my hands, so I thought, you know what, let's get a video out. And this is one that has been requested a few times now and I've just not had a chance to do it. So I'm going to be doing a baby names we love and might be using. Obviously I'm not going to reveal whether that's the name we're going to use. Obviously I'm going to try and keep that a secret. I don't know why, but I just feel like if I put it out there and then change my mind, or like if I go off it, like obviously we're only 20 weeks in, so we've still got a lot of time to potentially go off it. But I will say we have decided on a name. We're like 95% sure. We're not actively looking for another one, so it will only be if we just happen to hear one and then fall in love with it more. But we are literally 95% in love with the name we have, so I don't see it changing. So I'm not going to put it on the list just in case, but I'm going to put like my second choice, my third choice and all that, but I'm obviously not going to tell you that it's my backup choices. But I've got a list on my phone. I feel like every girl has a list of baby names on their phone, even if you don't want to have a baby for a while. But I've had this list for a long time and obviously I've been adding to it a lot throughout pregnancy. I would definitely say that there is more for girl. Obviously I don't know, I might read a couple of girls ones out at the end, but obviously if you've seen my announcement, I am having a boy, so I'm mainly going to focus on boys ones obviously, because these are actually potential ones we could use. Let me just take out the actual name because it was in there. But yeah, obviously, please don't be judgmental. Everyone's got such different taste on names. I feel like my taste on some of them are quite unique, but then other ones are very like normal, basic. I don't really like names that are too weird, and that's not to insult anyone that's got unique names, because I also think it's quite nice to have unique names. But for me, I just think for boys especially, I think it's harder to think of a name that's unique without it sounding a bit more weird, if that makes sense. That's just my opinion. Obviously everyone's got a different opinion. It's your baby, you can call them whatever you want. But I will say that my girls ones are probably more out there. That's what Dan said to me the other night. He was like, your girls ones were way more out there than your boys. I'm going to start with boys, and then I might just read out some of the girls ones, seeing how we're doing for time, because I mean there's not tons and tons and tons, but yeah. Okay, so I'm going to start with the name that I would say, for the years I've known Dan, right, we're in our 6th year together, and every time we talked about a baby boy, it was always this name. And I'm gonna say it because I'm confident we won't use it. But I was literally in love with it for years and years and years, and it's only been since I've actually been pregnant that I've actually been like, do you know what, no, I don't think I could use it anymore. It's not that I don't like it. I think all of these names are lovely. Obviously they're on my list because I like them, but I just prefer my other name more. So the first name is Leo, and that was literally what we were going to call our child from day dot. Like we just had it set, and then yeah, like I said, I just changed my mind completely when I felt pregnant. I just think because I'm not going to say the surname because I just feel like I'm giving too much information away, but my partner's surname, which I have decided he's going to have, I was a bit unsure about that. Let me know your guys' opinion, whether you, because obviously me and Dan are engaged, we're not married. We will get married at some point, but even that was like, I wasn't sure if I was going to take his name. I don't know why, I just have like, I just feel a bit weird about it. Or at least I did. I definitely feel different now I'm pregnant. I don't know why. Maybe it's just pregnancy hormones making me like give up on my, do you know what I mean? I was stubborn with that opinion, and I was like, I'm not changing. And then my pregnancy hormones have been like, eh. But yeah, I was sort of set that I wasn't taking Dan's surname. We were going to double barrel, or I was just going to keep my surnames. Then I was also a bit like, do I then want my son to have a different surname to me? Obviously he will anyway until we're married. But I have changed my opinion completely on that. I don't know why. I don't know what's changed. Just since I've been pregnant, I've just been like, do you know what? He'll have Dan's surname. I'll have Dan's surname at some point. It's really not that deep anymore to me. It used to be really deep, and now it's just not anymore. I'm just like, there's more important things in life to care about than a surname. But because Dan's surname is very short, that's why I went off Leo, because I didn't think it sounded right having 2 short names. I feel like with Dan's surname you need to have more of a longer first name, if that makes sense. So yeah, Leo was just too short. The next name, this was actually one that Dan chose, and he probably liked it a bit more than me. I do really like it, and that is Oscar. I do think it is really, really cute. I feel really awkward like giving these names away now, because I'm like, what if we do use them? But if that happens, it happens anyway, do you know what I mean? It doesn't really matter. But yeah, I do really like Oscar. I think it's really cute, and it probably does sound good with our surname, but it's just not trumping the name that we have 95% picked. The next one is the one that was probably my favourite before the one we've picked now, and that is Milo / Miles. I literally think it's the cutest name ever, especially Miles. I just think it's so like posh, do you know what I mean? It sounds really nice. Just some pregnancy realism for you. That clip ended very abrupt. I can't speak. That clip ended very abruptly because I had to run and be sick. Sorry if that's TMI, but don't skip breakfast, guys, if you're pregnant, because I woke up this morning, and this is what I get for waking up, feeling all more motivated, being like, yeah, let's get filming, let's get with filming. I skipped breakfast. Just pay the price for it. Do not skip breakfast. Do not have an empty stomach if you're pregnant because you'd think that you wouldn't be sick because you've got an empty stomach. Nope. You just empty God knows what, like everything. The worst kind of sick. If you know, you know. So let me just quickly eat some snacks and then we'll get on with the video. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. I think I was on Miles / Milo. Like I said, I really loved Miles, really loved Milo, but the more I think about Milo, I'm really sorry if I'm going to offend anyone here, but to me, it just reminded me more of a dog's name. And I'm really sorry if you have a son called Milo, but I just know a lot of dogs called Milo. I started to realise, I was like, oh, I've heard of a lot of dogs called Milo. Okay, maybe not. The next one was Theo / Theodore. I feel like that's so popular at the moment as well, Theo. But it's very similar to Leo. It's very short, so probably won't work for me. I love Theodore, and you could shorten it to Teddy. A lot of people do that, don't they? That is really cute, but then I'm also thinking a man called Teddy, but then he could just be called Theodore, I guess, or Ted as an adult, I suppose. So to be honest, I like names like that where they work, where you can adjust them for a baby, a child, teenager, and also a grown man. I think those are the best kind of names, because I do think you have to consider what you're calling your baby. You have to consider what they're going to be like as a man. Do you know what I mean? Like, I do think some people don't really consider that, I'm not going to lie. The next one was Louis. I love the name Louis. I think it's so cute, but again, it works as a man's name, Louis. Like, it's, do you know what I mean? You could make it like really cute. You could nickname it like, I don't know, like Lulu. I don't know. You could just, I feel like you just end up nicknaming your kids whatever. From what I've spoken to people with kids, they say that like, don't worry too much about nicknaming because you end up calling them the weirdest stuff anyway that's got nothing to do with their name. So I have kind of like bear that in mind as well. The next one is Dominic. I don't really love this one so much now. I don't know why that's on my list, but I mean, it's quite cute, Dom, I suppose, for short. But yeah, don't really feel any type of way towards that now, I would say. The next one is Freddie. I think Freddie is such a cute name, and again, it works for both. It works for a baby. They could call themselves Fred when they're older if they think that's better, but that's the only thing I don't really love, Fred. So I wouldn't bother me if that's what they want to call themselves as a man, but even if they wanted to call themselves that as a child, I don't really love Fred so much. I just think it's not as cute for a boy, do you know what I mean? Whereas Freddie is adorable, but yeah, don't prefer it other than my other one. I'm not going to say anyway. I'm going to stop saying that because otherwise you're going to be like, oh, well, you're definitely not using that then. The next one, oh my God, I love this name, right? But I feel like it's a bit, I don't know if it's too weird, right? But the name is Benny. It's not just Ben, Benny. And I'm not going to lie, the reason I thought of this is because of Benny and the Jets by Elton John. It's like one of my favourite songs. I love Elton John. Elton John just always reminds me of my childhood and my dad. And it's such like a nostalgic kind of thing for me, especially Benny and the Jets, like the song Benny and the Jets. So I was just listening to it when I was driving home on my own, like probably a couple of months ago now. It was quite a while ago. I think it was near Christmas time. And I just thought, Benny, like that's really, really cute. But I think he'd just end up being called Ben all the time anyway. So like, is it worth even calling him Benny? Because I feel like a lot of people might call their kid Ben and then call them Benny as like a nickname. Whereas I would want their actual name to be Benny. But I do genuinely love that name. I think it's so cute. And it's like, it's not unique because obviously Ben is a very common name. But Benny is a bit more unique, do you know what I mean? And especially with like where it's from. And I'm not that you're not gonna know where it's from, but yeah, I literally love that name. Okay, I just have a few more boys' names, and I think I probably will just go through some of the girls' names. Just a few. But yeah, the next boy's name is Felix. I think that's so cute for a boy. And again, works for a teenager, works for an adult. Yeah, I just love it. But Dan was like, oh, it reminds me of Fix It Felix from Wreck-It Ralph. And I'm like, you can think of that for every name. You could think of something that it reminds you of and get yourself to be put off by it, but you just can't do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I hate when people say that, like, oh, I knew a really naughty Felix or whatever, and it's like, okay, don't try and put me off the name. That's why I'm also like, I don't know if I want to tell people, but I mean, I have told my family the name. I've told my very close friends the name, like anyone that's asked, I've told them if I'm close with them. But yeah, my family and Dan's family know the name as well. But other than that, I'm not going to go spreading it too much further than that, just in case we do go off it or if someone wants to have an opinion about it. I just don't want to hear it, do you know what I mean? If you don't like it, keep it to yourself, because people are always going to have an opinion. But if you don't tell anyone your name and then they just meet the baby and you're like, oh, this is Felix, do you know what I mean? Then they won't be like, oh, that's a horrible name. Like, no one's going to do that when looking at the baby. But yeah, so I told people that I know will, even if they don't love it, they'll be nice about it. But to be honest, unless they're lying, everyone has really loved the name, especially my family and Dan's family. They really love it. So, and we all just keep calling him by this name at the moment. So I definitely do think it will be his name. If not, it will feel weird because we just refer to him as his name at the moment. But yeah, Felix, I really do love that as well. So the next name is Albie, and I see a lot of people call their boys Albie. It is a bit out there for me. That's kind of why I sort of think probably not, because it is a bit too out there. But I do think it's quite cute, Albie. But again, I think it's more just cute for a boy and a baby, not necessarily an adult. But then obviously where everyone is calling their baby these unique names, all the teenagers and men are going to have these names. So are you going to be more different by calling them things like Ben? And do you know what I mean? So actually, it will be more normal. So it's not that weird really, but yeah, just not my favourite name. And that's also quite similar with the last one, which I actually only heard the other day, but I heard it and I was like, oh, that's nice. But again, it's not put me off the main one I like. But that's Parker. I think it's really cute. I actually think it's really cute for a girl as well. That could work for both. But again, what would you shorten that to? Parker, Parky? No, see, I want to have a name that you can nickname. And I know like I said, you nickname and whatever, but I do like names that can be shortened. Some people are the opposite. Some people like names that can't be shortened. But yeah, but Parker is really sweet, isn't it? And it's quite like, not posh, but I don't know, kind of posh, I guess. Parker, like, can be said really nicely. But those are my boy ones. I'm gonna go through a couple of girl ones, just because why not? But because realistically, I don't think I'm gonna be having a girl. But if I do, then by the time I have a girl anyway, you probably would have forgotten these names. And if you don't, who really cares? I might go off these names. I might think of new ones, do you know what I mean? Realistically, I think my chances of having a girl are pretty slim. Again, I would love to hear people's experiences and opinions with this, because basically I was dead set it was going to be a boy. I had a gut feeling, but it wasn't really until after I found out he was a boy that I was actually like, of course he's a boy. Like, how could he be a girl? Because he's obviously the man that decides the gender, right? And my partner, his parents have 3 boys. Dan's one of 3 boys. His eldest brother, who has kids, has 2 boys. So it's like, realistically, it's more common on their family to have boys, right? They've not had girls. And if the man carries the gender, then of course it's going to be a boy. Do you know what I mean? Like, my chances of having a girl are probably quite slim. But let me know what your opinion is, because I hear a lot of people say that... Just dropped my phone. I hear a lot of people say that once you've had one gender, you're more likely to have that gender again. Is that true? I mean, obviously people do have one boy, one girl, but I do feel like you see more often people having 2 girls or 2 boys. But yeah, let me know your experience with that, whether you also have something similar where on your partner's side he has more like experience, more boys, and then you've managed to have girls. Like, let me know, because I would love to have a girl at some point. Like, don't get me wrong, I really did want a boy, and the more I think about having a boy, actually, the more I realise that actually I did want a boy. I just think it's so special, and yeah, I'm really, honestly, I'm really happy to have a boy, but I would also like to experience a girl as well at some point. So, although I realistically don't think I can go through pregnancy again at this rate, like, whew, not so sure about that one, but I know I'll probably change my mind. Everyone says as soon as you see that baby, you go through it all again. So yeah, at some point I would love to think I have a girl. So I'll say a couple of the names, but I won't go into as much detail, obviously, because this pregnancy isn't a girl, so it's not as important right now to think of a girl's name. Do you know what? I'm just going to read the whole list out, but I'm going to do it really quickly. Like, I'm not going to go into detail about it. So, Actually, there's one I'm going to leave off because it is my dream girl name and Dan doesn't like it, but he's got to come around to it, right? Hopefully once he sees me go through labour this time, he'll be like, do you know what, you've earned it, you can have your dream girl name if we ever have a girl, because we're probably not going to have one anyway. But yeah, I'm just going to go through them really, really quickly. Yeah, okay, so I've got Zoe, Bella, Olive, Bonnie, Josie, Jasmine, Story, Vienna, Riley, Valerie, Emery, Stevie, Rosie, Eliza, Rory, Tilly. You can probably notice the theme that I love E names. I literally just think they're so cute when they've got like an IE or like just an E sounding name at the end. I just think it's so cute. But yeah, some of them you can see with the girls' names, they are a bit more like unique, because I just think you can get away with it more with a girl. That's just my personal opinion. But yeah, those are the girls' names that I've got on there as well. Obviously I wrote them all before I found out I was having a boy. But yeah, you can get a sense of like my taste in names now. Let me know what your children's names are if you want to. Obviously you don't have to, let me know. Because I love, honestly, I could talk about names for ages. I think it's such a massive thing, like it's such a hard decision as well, because you're literally naming your child for the rest of their life. Do you know what I mean? Like it's such an important decision, which is why I said to Dan, like, I want to think about it as early as possible in the pregnancy, so we've got time to sit with it. Like with us calling him his name at the moment, it gives us a chance to actually be like, no, this doesn't feel right, it doesn't sound right, and it gives us a chance to go off it before he's here, and then you end up sort of like settling on something and maybe not being as like happy about it. Whereas we know if we are still as happy as we are now with this name in another 20 weeks, that we're probably never going to go off it. So yeah, it's definitely a massive decision, and a lot of responsibility, but I'm pretty happy with my name. But who knows, maybe I will end up going for one of those names I read to you, because I do love a lot of them. Obviously I wouldn't have put them on my list if I didn't love them, so you never know, we could change our mind. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. It's just a bit of sort of a little fun one, just a little midweek upload. I think this weekend I'm gonna do another version of the renovation vlogs, because we've got some more things happening. So the last one I showed you us like painting, and I showed you the new room. We're actually gonna be moving into the new room in a couple of days. So yeah, it's gonna be more sort of like a moving furniture sort of organisation kind of vlog, rather than actually like, you know, like building stuff. I will then do another one of like all the updates of the building, because this room is basically gonna have a new corridor on here, and this room's gonna be a nursery. And of course I'll do a whole vlog for the nursery, which I'm so excited for. Hopefully won't actually be too long. I'm hoping still in the next month or two we'll do the nursery. It'll be really nice to have like everything done, and then I can just sort of like not stress about anything and like just rest more, do you know what I mean? So even at this stage, and I know this is really stupid because it's only going to get worse because I'm only halfway, but even at this stage I am just so exhausted that the thought of like building furniture and stuff, like I don't think I could even hack it now, let alone in the 3rd trimester. So yeah, definitely glad that I'm getting it done earlier rather than later. But yeah, I really hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, then please leave a thumbs up. Is that I never say thumbs up. Please leave a like and subscribe, comment anything down below, any videos you want to see. Yeah, I'd be super grateful. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.